about that problem solving earlier. Pretty fun, huh? Well, at this moment, we would like you to flip over the paper that we put out on your desk. It's face down. It should look like this. There's 2 questions on it, and we want you to take a moment and answer those 2 questions. And you're done answering them. Flip it over, and we'll get started. Everybody pretty much done with those? So, today Rachel and I will be introducing Habit 3. Like Coach Moore said earlier, Habit 3 is putting first things first, and also about effectively managing time. Habits 1 and 2 are essential for the foundation of Habit 3. So remember that Habit 1 is about being proactive, and Habit 2 is about being aware of your paradigms. So in order to put first things first, you have to know how to organize your time. There are 4 generations of how to organize and manage your time, and we will go over those right now.
So the first generation of managing your time has mostly to do with making lists and checklists. This is effective for, well, you obviously know what you need to do, but it really doesn't put anything above the other one, like importance or which one you should do first or how much time you should allot for each of them. The second generation has to do with sort of applying those ideas of giving yourself a certain amount of time and prioritizing those. So it has to do with calendars and appointment books. This is 3.
Generation 3 incorporates long and short-term goals. It's a step above the first 2 generations, but it doesn't include considering relationships. And relationships are what contribute to a higher quality of life and overall happiness. Generation 4 utilizes all of what the first 3 generations did, such as checklists, long and short-term goals, relationships, and prioritizing. Generation 4 is the best form of management and is the foundation for living a quality and effective life. So now that we have gone over so now that you know how to organize your time effectively, how do we know which tasks are of higher priority? And as you look on the board, you'll see 4 quadrants. And we'll go over these just right now.
So Covey talks about the matrix of managing your tasks and where they lie. And the 4 are things that are important and urgent, and those are tasks such as emergencies or like family emergencies or medical emergencies, things that you cannot ignore, that you must act on now and that are important. And then second quadrant has to do with they're important but they're not urgent. So they're things that you need to do, but you don't need to do them like right now. So things like that require lots of planning and organizing your time. So things such as working out or studying for a test that's like a week away, or managing those things that have to get done, but you don't necessarily have to do them right now, so it requires a certain amount of discipline.
Quadrant 3, as you will see, falls under the not important but urgent category. Things such as interpretations when there, or interruptions when there are things, like there's a task at hand. For example, let's say you're doing homework or something, or work at your job, you get a call or an email from a friend who is having a bad day or an issue they are having. It's an act of urgency on your part to speak and listen to them, but also not important because it could be discussed at a later time. Quadrant 4, as you can see, is not important and not urgent. This, I don't think anybody wants to be a part of in that quadrant. It is not important and not urgent, and this consists of wasting time when tasks should be done, such as watching TV, such as, say you're watching reality TV. I know some of you probably watch Jersey Shore, but not that important. Surfing the web, go in on Facebook, MySpace, if that still exists. And although very entertaining to us males, playing video games. So now that we have covered all 4 quadrants, please take out those questions that we had you guys answer earlier in the beginning of class, and take a moment to reflect on your answers and see which quadrant your answers line into. Now, Covey states in his book that most important people's answers fall under quadrant 2, and that's where we want. So that's something to consider.
So because most of your answers probably do lie under section 2, how do we plan our lives and organize our tasks and time to fit mostly in quadrant 2? And Covey gives us 6 different tools in order to do that effectively. The first tool is coherence, and that just has to do with understanding who you are as far as your roles and responsibilities, and that is tool 1.
Number 2 is balance, and this is living up to the expectations to your roles in life. So for example, I'm an athlete, I'm a student, I'm a son, and all those have to be incorporated. And balancing all these are important to prioritizing roles and tasks.
The third tool is focus, which has to do with being able to focus both on long and short-term goals. So you have things that need to be done now and ahead of time, so you need to be able to focus on all those different ones and keep your priorities in mind.
Number 4 is having a people dimension. You should be efficient with things and effective with people. You can't really be efficient with people, you have to be effective. So you cannot put a timeline on a deep conversation or a conversation with someone you just met. You just have to be effective with them, and you just have to stay there until everything's taken care of.
The 5th tool is flexibility, which just has to deal with when you're planning your activities or your tasks that you need to do, just within like a weekly basis, you have to be able to be flexible within that time. So the planning is a tool, it's not necessarily a ruler of all of your time. So just remember that there's always flexibility, and especially you'll need that for quadrant 1, because those are emergencies that have to come up, or tasks that have to be done now and that are important. So such as emergencies, you always have to be flexible for such things.
And the 6th tool is portability, and this is simply just having plans portable everywhere you go, so you can constantly be reminded of your goals.
So now that all of you, we've given the tasks of how to live mostly in quadrant 2, so that way you can plan out your time and be most effective with it, and how to organize yourselves. We just challenge you guys to go out and try to organize your time and figure out what is important and what is not important, and how to act accordingly. Thank you. Are there any questions?
What were the, in you were talking about 3 different areas
generations?
Yeah, there are 4 different generations,
4.
actually. The first generation of organizing or managing your time and tasks is the notes and checklists. So it's just making lists of things you have to do. So say for the day or for the week, you say, I have to do these 5 different things. And you just list them off. And throughout, when you get them done, you just check them off. So that's fine for getting tasks done, but it doesn't give you priority and it doesn't give you an allotted amount of time for each thing. And then the second generation has to do with calendars and appointment books, so it's actually placing those at different times, but it still doesn't really give it priority over one or another. We can talk about that.
Generation 3 includes the first and second generation that she mentioned, but those 2 don't include relationships, which are very valuable to our lives. And so that's what 3 includes, and 4 includes all of them.
Any more questions? Thank you very much.
Thank you.